I constantly get asked what's my take on iPhone 15, and I have since pretty much like the release of like the iPhone 14. I've been getting asked what do I think about what the leaks are saying about what the iPhone 15 is going to be. So sure enough, what happens on the internet is they fill it with clickbait and a bunch of conjecture and rumors and everything, and then you get to the point where they actually release the phone and most of the stuff that you hear is not true. So iPhone 15 has just been released, and I'm just going to quickly talk about what I feel about it. Now, I had an iPhone, what was it, 12 Pro Max, which I gave as a hand me down to one of my parents. And that's pretty much how I treat my phones. I keep them in perfect condition, and then I use them as hand me downs to my parents because for the most part, they're not using anywhere near the amount of features on these phones that these phones offer. They're happy enough just to be able to take photos. They're happy enough just to be able to check email. They're happy enough just to be able to look on the internet and watch a YouTube video. They're not using it for all of the features that one of these pro models offers. What I bought the pro models for was the storage space because, as you know, I make YouTube videos, travel vlogs, and whatnot. So I gave my iPhone 12 to one of my parents, just as I did the XS Max before it. Then I upgraded to the iPhone 14. I totally skipped the iPhone 13 as a daily user because I just didn't feel I needed it. So I bought one for my girlfriend, and then I pretty much used a, iPhone 4. Well, I bought the iPhone 14 for myself, the deep purple. But long story short, great battery life, lasts all day, even when the battery health over 1 year has dropped down by 10%. Great battery life. Love the screen. I don't have a scratch on it. I love the cameras. It works fairly perfectly. The one problem I've had is the autofocus is a little bit slow, especially if there's glare from the sun. Other than that, it's been a perfect phone. I've been using it for all of my photos, been using it for all my videos. I didn't really need the raw imaging, but every now and then I'll throw on the raw in order to take photos of things that I think are really, really gorgeous. But for the most part, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, 1 terabyte, cost me $1,750, and it's been a perfect phone. So, what features does the iPhone 15 really bring to the table? Physically, from the outside, if you looked at it, you would assume that it was no different than the iPhone 14 physically. However, what they've done is they've retired the deep purple color and they've introduced a titanium blue. Titanium is the new metal that they're using. As you know, titanium is relatively light and it's relatively strong. The military used it, for example, to make bathtubs for the A-10 Thunderbolt, where the pilot basically sat in this bathtub cockpit, and if you shot at him from the ground, chances are the bullet wasn't going to get through to the pilot. So titanium typically has a very good track record as being light and strong as a metal. So they've made the new frames out of titanium. The stainless steel upgrade that they did, I really liked. In fact, the stainless steel has created a very, very strong frame. I have no idea why people have to put a phone in their back pocket and sit on it, but for the most part, I've never done that. I always keep my phone in my side pocket, so I've never had a problem bending the phone, which was a problem that was affecting the iPhone 6, and I think they solved it with the 6S before they moved on to the 7. But my thinking is Apple should just told people stop sitting on your phone. So pricing, as the rumor and the conjecture, they constantly said, oh my God, they're going to charge more for the iPhone. It's going to be more expensive. Pricing, as you see, pretty much hasn't changed. It's pretty much exactly what it was before. The iPhone Pro, the Pro Max, the Pro model, they don't call it the Pro Max anymore. But for the most part, they've kept prices pretty much where they were. Apple already had marked up prices so much and they were making so much profit that they could keep the price right where it is, and they're really not losing much profit, and they're still profitable off of these phones. So you get a USB-C port, you're getting a sleep-wake button that is a button rather than a switch, and a titanium frame, and the new color blue. And that's pretty much it. They could have pushed the envelope a little further and they could have added in a 2 terabyte storage option, but I guess they weren't interested in doing that. Now, keep in mind, 2 terabyte storage SSD is a little bit less than $100 right now. So it's not like it's impossible to put 2 terabytes in it. They could have. My guess is they'll save that for next year and they'll put 2 terabytes on the 16. That's when I'll consider buying. I'm not upgrading this phone until they have a 2 terabyte option, because 1 terabyte on this phone is perfect. And that's really the bottom line. These phones have been incrementally improved with newer, faster processors, newer, faster memory and whatnot. But for the most part, I really feel iPhone has peaked. They didn't really have much to talk about. Like, for instance, during the Apple event today, they spent a long time showing off the security features. They always typically save the iPhone for last, but they spent a long time showing off a security video that I had already watched. And I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to think that Apple is losing its touch. They spent a long time earlier this year displaying a VR headset that they don't even have ready to deploy. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? But this is not Steve Jobs' Apple. This is Tim Cook's Apple. So, long story short, I wasn't really excited. The only thing that was kind of exciting this year, and arguably last year too, the only thing that I really felt was exciting was the Apple Watch Ultra. They have a new Apple Watch Ultra 2. They've stretched the screen a little bit. They've made the system a little bit better. They made the process a little bit faster. It already got like 36 hours of battery life. So, that's a good thing. But for the most part, I wasn't really... This was kind of one of the most boring events that they've had since COVID. And, I expect incremental upgrades, but I was really hoping that they would put together a little something more. But let me end by telling you what I'm not interested in. What I'm not interested in is a folding phone. I've said this before. I've seen folding phones. I've used folding phones. I honestly see absolutely no point for it to fold. I'm happy with the candy bar style of the iPhone. I can simply slip it into my pocket. I can simply pull it out of my pocket. I only need one hand to use it, especially while I'm driving my car or in traffic. I only need just one hand. The other hand is doing whatever else, usually on the steering wheel. But I am in no way interested for a folding phone at all. And the thing about it is, after actually using one of these things, it's like I would rather have a regular Android phone than a folding phone. I just don't see the point of it. First of all, glass don't fold. Now, someday they may produce some type of material that folds elegantly, but glass don't fold. There's always that visual tackiness for these folding phones. If you have a screen protector, that tackiness is multiplied. I just like it. It's one of those niche products that, there's some people who buy it and I don't know if they're trying to be different or whatever it is. It's one of those niche products, but I see no point in it. Now, yes, granted, the Android market offers a lot of features far beyond what iPhone is willing to offer. Like, they'll offer 2, maybe even 4 terabytes of storage, depending upon how much you're willing to pay. They offer gaming phones. They offer this. They offer that. I'm not interested in any of that. I like iOS just the way it is. I like my phone just the way it is. If you want to improve it for me, all I need is longer battery. And at this point, the camera is pretty much perfect. So I can't say a better camera, even though they're going to improve the camera every time the processor and the memory gets better. But you give me faster processor, you give me faster memory, you give me a faster camera, that's all fine. Improve my battery life even more beyond what it is right now, even though it's very good. And on top of that, give me more storage. Some people keep asking, oh, why do you need so much storage? I need storage because I'm not finalizing video in iCloud. I don't even think you can do that. You can't finalize a video in iCloud and make a 4K 60 frame per second video. You need to have all of your video on your phone or on your iPad or on your Mac before you can start finalizing it and make it a file. So no, I need as much storage as I can get. If they had a 2 terabyte option right now, that would be fabulous. And I would be willing to pay for it. I don't care what it costs. It's because the phone, for me, because I'm a YouTuber, the phone pays for itself. So I don't care about the cost. I just want the storage space. So that's basically it. The Apple Watch event came, people tuned in. They had over 2 million people watching it all over the world. Me personally, I wasn't extremely impressed. As an Apple shareholder, I'm glad to see that the company's, making good products that people want and everything. A lot of newcomers to iPhone are going to buy the iPhone 15. A lot of people who have 13s, 12s, 11s, a lot of them may end up upgrading and they'll trade their phone off to a family member or sell it or something. But that's basically it. It's like this is the second year in a row where I was more interested in the watch than I was in the phone. So I'm probably going to buy an Apple Watch 2 Ultra. And other than that, I don't see myself buying the Titanium 15 Pro. I will definitely be waiting until they have a 2 terabyte storage option.